Y'all not going to believe this, but I'm going to tell you something that happened a while back, how I almost got myself into a real mess being a single girl. Listen to this. Now, this was quite some time back, and I had made a friend, a gal pal friend, and she was a hoot, good fun, a bit on the wild side, definitely on the wild side, but I thought, oh, I couldn't deal with her every day, but on the wild side. And then the more I got to know her, I realized that she was in the middle of a divorce. And but it wasn't a divorce, but it was the damnedest thing. So it took a while for her to explain it, for me to really grasp what the hell is she talking about. I thought for a long time maybe she was just delusional. I thought she don't know what the hell she's talking about. That don't even sound right. But she had lived with the guy for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, and they referred to each other as husband and wife, but they were never legally married. So that was important to me. They were never legally married. And she said she was getting divorced. And I was like, okay, emotionally, she's getting divorced. So I let that go for several weeks. And she was constantly talking about how terrible this divorce was and that she had a lawyer. Well, I don't really know all her ins and outs of her private business. So I don't know what she means by, the lawyer. And because her and this guy were just shacking up. I mean, yes, they did live together for over a decade, but I thought, well, maybe they bought things together and they're trying to divide that. Again, I didn't ask. I tried not to get too in depth, and that was none of my damn business. And I didn't want to know about it because I was afraid I was going to get involved in it, right? I want nothing to do with that. So but finally she sat down one afternoon and she was very upset. And so I said, what's wrong, honey? Not that I was going to do anything about it, but I was just giving her a space to get that all off her chest so she could feel better, right? Because that's what friends do. So she tells me this tale about how she actually filed for divorce because the state that she lived in, they recognized common law marriage, and they had lived together for so long. And I was like, oh, okay, that sort of makes sense, I guess. So she said, I've actually filed for divorce, and she's suing him for alimony. And I thought, okay, I mean, I don't know. Well, she said that she had actually worked for him all these years because he runs a business or owns a business, and she took care of all the administrative things and this and that and did that for him. And I thought, oh yeah, we've all done that kind of dumb shit, build his business up. But I found that you end up walking away empty-handed. You don't even get a thank you for helping. And so I thought, well, okay, she's standing her ground on that issue, and okay, good for you, girl. Well, then she started telling me all these crazy things, and the police got involved, and they filed charges on each other about, theft because one has a car, it belongs to the other one, and all, just all this crazy Jerry Springer kind of shit. So I just stopped after another week or two. I don't want to know because I don't have room for that Jerry Springer level nonsense. I don't have patience for it. I'm going to end up hurting your feelings because I'm going to tell you looking crazy, right? So she carries on. Well, finally she says it's come time to go to court, and she says that she is not going to she's not going to have anywhere to live. And if the court doesn't side in her favor, she's going to be penniless as well. Now, she had a little job, but she had been working so long for him that she was having trouble finding a good paying job. She just had a little minimal income job and, small skills, retail. And so she said, I don't think I can afford to live on my own. And she was so upset. And I thought, well, and I don't know what come over me, but I said, well, until you get on your feet, if that happens, I'm not going to have you sleeping in your car. You're my friend. You could stay with me for a few weeks while you figure it out after this court hearing if it doesn't go in your favor. Well, I'd love to. Oh, Dolly, you and I'd have such a good time. I said, ho, slow down now. Slow down. We're not talking about a permanent situation. We're talking, I'll help you get back on your feet for a few weeks. Not, don't take this, don't get too, and she said, oh, okay. So then she says, so I can stay in your spare room? And I said, yeah. And she says, oh, I think I'd better do that anyway, regardless of what the court says. I said, okay. Well, finally she goes to court. and they give her a couple $1,000s, and it's enough to pay rent and deposit and get moved and buy a new bed. I mean, it's just that. It's not, starting over money. It's just getting started money. And so she says, I said, yeah, no. I said, save that, and, for a couple of weeks, and shop around and find a little apartment or something that you can afford. Well, then she comes and she said, and she's told me some of these things that's gone on between her and this husband, right? And because I had questioned, how did the courts recognize this as a marriage? And she said, well, because I maintained insurance while I lived there, and I have all these documentations, and that I had things. I said, oh, okay. So she shows up at my house the day after she brings her first bit of little clothes to stay. And she says, okay, I bought a renter's policy, so I'm renting a room from you. And I was like, why would you, huh? You're just bringing some clothes. Why would you buy insurance as a rent? Well, I said, you don't have a lease. I'm not giving you a lease. I'm letting you stay for a few weeks. And she says, well, and I was like, huh. And then I got a letter in the mail that was addressed to her. And I did not open it, but I know what it was. I mean, it was her new driver's license. So she showed up, and I said, oh, you got this in the mail today. Now, I know that in order for you to get a new driver's license in the mail, you have to do that weeks ahead of time. You don't get that the next day. You had to have done that a few weeks before. So a few weeks before she's even coming to stay for a few days, a few weeks, she's just going to stay for a short time while she searches for an affordable apartment to rent. And I thought, why would you, huh? And it must be my address, because that you had to, or they wouldn't have mailed it here, right? So she opens it up and says, oh yeah, I said, oh, let me see. Did you get a good picture? I look at it, I'll be damned, this got my address on it. And I went, oh, this is all not good. And she says, yeah. And I said, look, you need to call and cancel that insurance, because one, that's illegal. You can't insure someplace that you don't have a lease. You're not staying here permanently like that. You don't have the long-term arrangements to stay here. You need to, oh, well, no. I said, no, you need to cancel that because that well, if something happened, I said, if something happened, the first thing I'd tell them is that you don't really live here. I was letting you stay for a few weeks. So you've just wasted your money. And she says, oh, okay. And I thought, what the hell? And then she said something else and a couple other things. And then I was remembering back some of the stories she told me. She had made sure that her driver's license had his house address on it. She had made sure that she had insurance that showed that she had property belongings at that address. She had done a couple of other things before she had filed for divorce to make sure that showed that she had some rights to that address, right? Now, and I feel like I'm fixing to watch all this happen to me. I'm feeling jumpy as I can be. I was like, oh, no. I have screwed up. I've more than screwed up. I have fucked up. I cannot have this girl in my house because she's dangerous. I'm feeling sketchy about this whole thing. And she says to me, now she's spent 2 nights here. And the third day, she says to me, the ex is going away for a few days, and she said, and my new boyfriend is going to go over there and get my other things, and I told him if he wanted anything else out of that garage, he could take it. I said, oh, you gonna end up, you can't have some guy going to your former address and taking like this guy's tools. And she's like, well, if he don't ever use them, they're just all in the garage. And I said, no. I said, no, you're going to end up being charged with theft. And this boyfriend of yours is going to end up, I said, no. I said, hon, this is not going to work out at all. You're going to need to find a place to live right away. You cannot stay here. And she's like, right now? Well, I wasn't thinking about right this damn second. Because there wasn't no plan in place. I'm just going. I said, yes, right now. She packed all her shit up and left that moment. And I It's like, okay, I never spoke to her again. I think she was going to pull on me like she did the ex-husband, all that paperwork trail. Y'all be careful who you let in your house. And I mean that with dating too. You know, you get some guy and he's going to stay with you. Because remember, not too long ago, there was a guy that I met, and he was moving here with a new job and all that. And that was my big red flag right there. It was like, oh no, no. I got too close to that fire once. I'm not getting burned like that. Y'all be careful about who you let in your house.